What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey and the Six. I'm Rob. Doing JP Weiser's Double Still Rye today. This is one of those bargain whiskeys. It's a Canadian whiskey made by Weiser's, of course, which is owned by Corby's. I'm gonna pour this out and talk a bit about it. So, this one's $29.95 at the LCBO. I think it's around $27 in BC, and it varies across Canada like $2. I'm assuming this is around the same if it is available at all in the US, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It is surprisingly good at that price point. It's aged in a combination of new oak, first fill bourbon, and Canadian oak. So 3 types of barrels used for this one, as well as 3 different types of grain used for this one. It's largely rye whiskey, but there's also some malted barley and a little bit of corn as well. It's bottled at 43.4%, so it's not your standard 40% that you would get at that price range, which is kind of nice. You're getting a little bit more percentage than we're used to at the $30 mark in Ontario at the LCBO. Okay, I'm gonna nose this, taste this, and give it a mark. This was one of the bottles given to me by Spencer Gooderham, the ambassador of Corby's for Ontario and Eastward. Super sweet on the nose. It does have some bourbon qualities to it that's probably coming from the new oak and as well as the first fill bourbon casks. It's got a little bit of like a char note to it, which is really nice. Very sweet, a lot of caramel, toffee. Brown sugar. Okay, on the palate. Super sweet upon entry. You get like a caramel corn note. Get some rye spices in there, like rye bread. It's not too peppery. It's got a nice kick to it with the 43.4%. But I'm guessing this is probably around 10 years old because it doesn't taste young, in my opinion. You get more of those rye notes on the back end, on the finish. Some really nice rye grain type spices. All right. So, you pick up some of the lot 40 characteristics in this one, but if you like something that's not just straight rye, this one might be you might favor this one over a lot 40 because there is that little bit of malted barley, there is that little bit of corn, and it gives it a different feel. Lot 40 is exclusively rye. It's got a very specific taste. This one I would match up to a straight rye from the US, okay, and it's very similar in flavor profile as well. Super, super good. I'm shocked that that's $30. I'm very curious to know how old this actually is because it's very, very smooth, all right? We do know that Weiser's pretty much adds color to all their whiskey. Almost every single Canadian whiskey adds color to their whiskey. There's very few that don't. some of the maybe smaller batch type distilleries are trying the no color added type thing. It is chill filtered, but for $30, you will not waste a dime of that money on this bottle. It's fantastic stuff for the price. I'm gonna give this one's A- for me, in that range. I'm gonna say it's around an 83. I'm gonna give it an A-. Alright, so super good stuff. For $30, you cannot go wrong. The price range alone might bump it into the A margin because it's surprisingly good at that price. If someone offered me a shot of this, didn't tell me what it was, asked me to give it a value, I would say anywhere from the $50 to $75 range from what I've tasted. Okay, so that's really, really good stuff. Definitely worth the price. Definitely a sippable whiskey. But at that price range, you can use it for mixed drinks like Manhattans and that sort of thing. Alright. One more taste. I'm just gonna see if I can pick out anything else. You do get like a subtle hit of like banana right up front with definitely some cinnamon. Now I'm picking it up on the finish. Okay, so that's probably coming from the spicy rye grain. Really, really nice stuff, guys. I swear you can definitely buy this eyes closed and be happy with the purchase because you don't mind serving it to anybody. You don't mind mixing it in a cocktail, and you definitely won't mind sipping this. Alright, so that's an A- for me. Alright, next up, I know I said I was going to do the Highland Park Dark Origins, but a friend of mine dropped off a bottle to borrow. The same guy that let me use his Courvoisier 21-year-old. It's the Hennessy Master Blenders. Alright, haven't had a chance to try this one. It's bottled at 43%, which is very different for cognacs, so I'm very curious to try this one and review it. That'll be next. Maybe I'll get to it this weekend because I do have to get it back to my friend, so we'll see. Maybe I'll post it on Saturday or Sunday. Alright, on my site I made some adjustments so you can actually click my Patreon if you go to the About portion of the YouTube website. Alright, I've done a whole bunch of sales when it comes to those hats that you saw me in a couple of the videos. I have 7 left. They are going rather quickly. I originally had around 50 and it's gone down to 7. So and that's mainly because of sizing, because there's a few people asking, and when I make my next order I'll have those ones already spoken for, just because I have a lot of the large, extra large flex fits. Actually, I have 5 or 6 of the 7 that are large, extra large flex fits. 1 that's with the black 6, and then 5 that are with the white 6. And that's only because I ordered more, thinking that more people would fit in that range, but they seem to be a bit bigger. So if you tend to have a larger size hat, maybe those will fit for you. Okay, you guys can check me out on Facebook, check me out on Twitter. Like, subscribe, share with a friend, and you can also have the option of contributing to this channel to make it better. I eventually will get to editing some of these videos, hopefully knock out the intro and maybe spice it up a little bit. Mainly I don't do that, guys, because it's very time consuming to edit videos. I have a full-time job. I have also a part-time job where I teach kickboxing at night, Muay Thai specifically. I teach during the day, and I have a family, so it gets kind of hectic, but I'm doing my best, and I hope that's okay with you guys. I hope you're enjoying the videos. Let me know if there's anything I can do to spruce it up a bit for you. Cheers.